Hey guys, welcome back to MMA Library. Today in MMA and UFC news, we have an interview from Daniel Cormier on who he believes is the best featherweight of all time. Sean O'Malley gives us his view on the scoring of the first round of his UFC 276 bout and his possible matchup against Henry Cejudo. Let's get started. Daniel Cormier, the former UFC light heavyweight and heavyweight champion, says Alexander Volkanovski is the greatest featherweight champion of all time. Cormier had this to say.
He's the best featherweight seen. Now, long time I said Max. He's not Max 3 times, and most convincingly in the third fight. He's also beaten Jose Aldo. He also beat Chad Mendes when beating Chad Mendes was very, very difficult. And then the way that he beat Chad Mendes was very impressive. Look, man, this kid he's next level, and he was fast. He was explosive, and as you and I have spoken about with him, he doesn't get tired. Your best weapon could be something, and it's null and void because you can't use it against Alexander Volkanovski. He really has shown no weaknesses inside the octagon. I can't remember or recall a time where I've seen him in trouble. I mean, he got dropped with Max.
Brian Ortega.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Ortega was about the closest we'd ever seen with the mounted guillotine.
Yes, but even in that, right, RC? Even in that, we learned how difficult it's going to be to beat this dude. Because 99.9% of the world would have tapped, and he got out of it. So he got dropped by Max twice with the uppercut with the head kick. But outside of those 3 moments, the dude's 24-1 now. I mean, outside of those 3 moments, there's no weaknesses in this man. He's the greatest featherweight of all time. I'm very sure about that.
We can't help but agree with Cormier on this, as Volkanovski has beaten the most consistent and best featherweights on his rise to rule the division, including his 3 victories over Max Holloway. It's hard to see how anyone comes close to the level he's on right now. Sean O'Malley is a fighter who some believe can make it to the top of the game and is coming off a no contest bout against Pedro Munhoz at UFC 276. In a recent interview, O'Malley was not too kind towards the judges, who he says made a stupid call in awarding the first round to Pedro Munhoz.
Initially, when it happened, I'm like, okay, didn't feel like it was bad. I thought we were gonna be fighting in 20 seconds. I didn't think the fight was gonna be stopped. I was dominating that fight. I checked every one of his leg kicks. I could feel his shins cracking. Every time he would throw a kick, I would check it, and I could tell it would hurt him. I didn't get hit one time. I was dominating that fight. I was piecing him up. I was finding my range. Judges don't know. Have those judges kick me, and I'll check their kick, and they'll be like, "Oh, okay, that hurt. That's a strike for me. That hurt Pedro." Every time he would kick me and I'd check it, that hurt him. For those judges to say that's a score for him, they're completely stupid. Literally just stupid. I can't believe this judge's score. I literally didn't get hit. Were they watching? I didn't get hit. How could you score that? That makes 0 sense.
Sean O'Malley certainly wasn't happy with the referee's decision, and he, as well as the majority of fans watching at home, were disappointed the fight ended so early. Whether or not O'Malley and Pedro gear up for a rematch, I think fans will be looking forward to O'Malley's next fight nonetheless. Darren Till has pulled out of his co-main event fight night bout with Jack Hermansson at UFC London due to injury. The fan favorite of the UK was looking to make his comeback after nearly a year away from the sport. Till was currently out of form in his most recent matches, suffering a submission loss to Derek Brunson in this last fight, marking the 4th defeat in 5 bouts. Hopefully he won't be out for too long, however, as we are excited to see this new version of Till, one who has spent a lot of time training with rising superstar Khamzat Chimaev. Jessica Ai was one of the main contenders for the women's 125-pound division of the UFC, having gained impressive victories over Kalindra Faria, Jessica Rose Clark, and Caitlin Chukagian to earn a shot at women's flyweight champion Valentina Shevchenko. The two clashed at UFC 238 in June of 2019, though Shevchenko proved victorious via knockout. The Stars decided that the time is right to retire from the UFC after a tough couple of years struggling with sickness and injuries, and her decision defeat to Maycee Barber at UFC 276 was the nail in the coffin. She had this to say in a recent interview.
There's a lot going through my mind, but the one thing that didn't seem like a bad decision or was like the right decision was retiring in the octagon, where I started my career, and, I got to do it the way that I wanted to. And, yeah, I'm sad. Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to have its days, but I'm excited for what I get to do next. I'm excited for all the other opportunities. I know that Jessica Evil Eye doesn't end in the UFC octagon. Jessica Evil Eye finds her way, in other directions, and I'm ready to embrace that.
Was this in your mind heading into the fight at all? Like, if it didn't go well, maybe I'll retire, or was this spur of the moment?
No, man, it's been a really rough year for me. Between last year, splitting my foot open, which, I felt I won that fight, and, thankfully that whole year, I went through a lot. I had sepsis in October, almost died back in October. Then, I had some injuries throughout camp, was supposed to fight man from France on a card here. Ended up breaking my nose, and then I found out I had a parasite that I've been living with for the past 5.5 years that was taking my gallbladder, taking so many things. So my health has just been up and down, that for me to even get back in the octagon and perform at this level and the way that I did, I'm proud of myself. I think sometimes that we only see each other for the wins and losses, and as well as the fans, but I've been winning at life since I was a little girl. No one said I would ever make it to the UFC. And, here I am. And I fought the best of the best. And I've taken every woman I've ever fought to the hardest levels. And, that says more about me as a person. And I want to leave that as a legacy, is that we can be tough no matter what it is that we choose to do.
Macy was just in here, and I know you saw her outside, and she was very complimentary of you. She was honored to be your final opponent. What did you ladies talk about out there, if you don't mind me asking? What did she say to you? What did you say to her?
Yeah, man, I met Macy, right when she had won the Contender Series, and, I saw her sitting by herself, and I seen such a young, sweet girl in her. And I remember whenever I first got into sport, there were so few of us, it was 2008, when I had my very first fight, and the women didn't embrace one another. And I remember when I met Macy, I invited her to sit with me and, kind of took her under her wing. And for many years, she would talk to me about, outfits or being a woman. And I feel like a lot of Macy, of those things that she found that she admired in me and that she wanted to be like. And, that's an honor, is for someone else to want to be like you. And I just told her to, she believes that she's got a purpose. Keep fighting for her purpose. Keep fighting for what she believes in. And I'm a fan of that, no matter, who the person is or what it is that they do. So, I give her nothing but the best, and I really encourage her just to keep believing in herself, keep working hard, and trust her coaches.
In a recent podcast, Henry Cejudo gives his side of the confrontation which happened backstage with O'Malley at UFC 276. It seemed that even though Cejudo challenged O'Malley to a fight, O'Malley shrugged him off. Here's what Cejudo had to say. "I just think he thinks he's better than what he really is, and to me that's a problem. So I challenged him. I said, 'What's up, man? Are you ready?' He's like, kuh. I should start calling him Stuttering Sean. He's freaking tripping over his own words, but anyway, he doesn't want the smoke. That would be like Jake Paul facing John Jones. I would eat that dude alive." The two then took to Twitter to fire tweets back and forth at each other, with Sean O'Malley first calling out Cejudo, tweeting, "September 10th, too soon, or you all talk. Can't find his Twitter, someone tag please." Cejudo, never being one to let anyone disrespect him, also took to Twitter to voice his reply, tweeting, "LOL, Ronald McDonald got his feelings hurt. He doesn't want to die. I'm eligible in October per USADA. Plus I have to lose some of this Mexican fat." Henry said, "I love pay-per-view points." So what do you guys think? Could this be a good fight, or is this all talk just based on ego? Who knows if the UFC would even go for this fight, but you never know. Leave a comment down below on who you believe would win this fight. Thanks so much for checking out the video. If you like the content we do here on this channel, please like and subscribe for all the latest MMA and UFC news. We'll see you in the next video.